G'day everyone, Blake here with another video, and today I'm excited to show you a bit of a different product to that which I usually do. So today I've got myself here this Flux Chroma light screen. So today I'm going to talk you through why you might consider one of these, why you might not, and everything there is to go along with it. So let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so first of all, what is a light screen and why would you want to use one? Well, light screens are becoming really popular these days, and it was pretty much since ADA released theirs that these guys are becoming more and more common to see. So a light screen is something that you place behind your aquarium and you light it up, usually with LEDs. And this really helps with photography. It gives another bit of depth and dimension to your aquarium, as well as lighting up some of those shady, hidden areas like behind a rockscape or something like that. With that said, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I think every single hobbyist needs to get a light screen. I don't necessarily think that they're 100% required to keep happy and healthy fish. This is more of a cherry on the top, nice to have kind of thing. Maybe if you've got one display tank in your living room, or you've got an area maybe that could do with a bit of more ambient lighting or something like that, then a light screen could really help to give a nice dynamic look to your living space. I wouldn't necessarily think a light screen like this would be something that you'd keep on 100% of the time, or at least during the hours that you light the tank. This is more for special occasions, if you're having a party or guests over, if you're doing some photography or videography and that sort of thing. So with that said, before I get too deep into the tech specs and things like that of this product, I do always like to be upfront and honest when it comes to the products, especially like this, and let you know that I did not pay for this product. I was sent this complimentary from fluxaqua.com. Now when it comes to aquarium light screens, there are a few different ones at a few different price points. I think there are certain advantages to this Flux Aqua one, and that is that it's a solid board. So this here is probably about 1 centimeter or ½ an inch thick, something like that, and it just hangs on the aquarium with two simple stainless steel hooks, which are adjustable. You input the thickness of your aquarium glass when you order something like this, so they size it to the tank that you have. So for that reason, this is super easy to install. In just a couple of seconds, you hang it on the back. Now, I think with other kits, they sort of have a light bar that you sit at the bottom of your aquarium, and then there's a opaque film which you sort of drape behind the aquarium some way, or maybe you attach it to the back glass. But for most of us, our tanks are already existing, full of water and backing onto a wall or something like that. So often things like that can be really fiddly, and you might find yourself crinkling up the paper, getting some weird shadows and things like that. So I think the actual format, first of all, of this light screen is really nice and user friendly. And even when it is off, it's a nice background viewing experience. So I mentioned before light screens as being sort of a nice to have thing, a cherry on top thing. And that's where I think the features of this Flux Aqua light screen really come into their own. As far as I'm aware, this is the only light screen on the market which has full color options available, as well as the usual sort of functions that you find, like a lightning mode, a flash mode, a slow blend mode, and so forth. So especially if you are just going to use it for when friends are over or for a party or something like that, yeah, you can really set itself apart from other light screens in that way, as well as it doesn't come with the hefty price tag of the ADA one, for example. As with anything ADA, of course, we're going to have a crazy price tag. In terms of Australian dollars, if you can find one at all, they're going to be upwards of around about 800 Australian dollars, and only have the option to dim it brighter or more dim in white light only. Whereas this guy here, it comes with a Wi-Fi adapter here and has full app control as well as a remote control. You can choose absolutely any color you want and select it from those modes as well. So that was something that I found pretty unique and cool. This one here I think is about $330 with about $75 shipping. Prices do vary depending on the size of the light screen that you're going to get. The one that I got for that price was the 60 centimeter by 45 centimeter, or 2 foot by 18 inch variety. As you can imagine, they get more expensive the bigger they get and less expensive the smaller they get. Now, I don't like to hide anything from you guys either, and during my research I did notice that there is a cheaper option to this available in Australia on eBay in the Make My LED panel, which is around about the $150 mark. But just like the ADA light screen, it only has white lights available with a dimming option. As well as that, the gradient screen here is not fixed, I don't believe, to the panel, so you fix it to your tank instead. So a little bit more fiddly to use, but I haven't picked up that one to be able to compare it in person firsthand. I think the luxury of choosing any color you like, although it might seem like something you don't really need, well, as we'll find out later in this video, I tried out a number of colors and some of them actually look really, really good. In particular, some of the oranges and pinks can create a really nice sunset kind of scene, and depending on the layout that you've gone with, maybe you are looking for something more than just a blue to white gradient. So when it comes to a big LED panel, which is going to retail around about $400 Australian when it's all said and done, look, I understand that it's not going to be for everybody. But for one person who has that real pride and joy in the corner of their living room that they really want to show off, well, I think this could be a really cool thing that can be eye-catching, and that can be something that's unique from every other aquarium that you see. So in terms of the pros of using a LED panel such as this one to light your aquarium, the first pro is that it's really, really easy to install. Most people will be able to do it in a matter of seconds and you'll be on your way to enjoying that tank. The other one is that it adds depth and is able to light some of the more shaded areas in your aquarium. It comes packed loaded with features and effects and different combinations you can use, including timers and different color gradients to switch between and so forth. So with that said, it's kind of a bit of fun. Now, I understand that a lot of people don't have $400 sitting around for a bit of fun, myself included, but if you do, it can be something that's really enjoyable, and I've found that I've spent a lot of hours now actually just sitting by the tank, enjoying it a little bit more. So if you do want to get that little bit of extra engagement with your tank, that little bit of extra adjustability, then this could be the way to go. Unfortunately, with everything, there are downsides as well, and for me, the big one is the cost. We've covered it basically to death, I think, at this point. So, of course, that has to be top of the list. Another thing I thought is maybe you might get some increased algae buildup on the rear of your tank, but we aren't going to run this 24/7 either. So just during photography and events, I think that maybe we could avoid that. This product here is shipped from China, I believe, and does come with the Chinese plug. So there are sort of downsides around that, including have to source an adapter and potentially the reliability or safety of that, if that remains compliant with your insurance and so forth. I don't believe that it would be too difficult to just change the adapter, so hopefully they make that change in the future. But for me, it's kind of a bit of an annoyance and something that's pretty easy to solve with just a little bit of extra legwork. But the last one and the biggest one for me is that you can't have lights that mount to the back of the aquarium through a clamp or bracket style whilst also using this light screen. So for me, a lot of the rimless tanks, you will use lights of that kind, especially if you want to get things up and out of the surface of the aquarium. And these light screens here are really, really designed for rimless aquariums. I'm sure they would also work with braced aquariums as long as there's no bracing in the corners. But to be honest, the product design mainly goes with those ADA style aquariums. So for that purpose, I wish that there was some kind of notch out, or maybe it's sat a little bit lower so that you could still incorporate the bracketed light of your choosing. But for me, that's where it sits today, so that's what I'm going to comment on. So yeah, really disappointing that I had to change my light out. Maybe that's not a big thing for you. Maybe you use Fluval 3.0s to light your aquarium or something like that, and then it would be no big deal. But outside of that, like I mentioned, it's a bit of fun playing around with this. I found the app to be really, really effortless, pretty simple to manage through. It has a great deal of control using the color wheel to choose whatever you like. Heaps of effects, and I haven't really played around with timers too much, but if you were going to keep it on long term, I would definitely recommend setting it up as a timer. The remote control worked really well as well, and no issues there. A good amount of control using the remote, and the instructions it came with were pretty detailed and above what you usually get when you get products like this, I believe out of China. So final thoughts, would I recommend picking up one of these light screens? If you're in the market for a light screen, I think this Flux Aqua option provides way more adjustability and versatility than others on the market at a competitive price point. It's super easy to install and all that sort of thing. So if you were going to buy a light screen, then perhaps this is the one to choose. But with that said, if you weren't specifically looking for a light screen and your filtration potentially wasn't up to par, maybe you could upgrade to a bigger tank, maybe you could upgrade to a better light to grow more plants or something like that, well, maybe your money could be better spent elsewhere. However, if everything is perfect and you're really happy with the tank, but you're looking just to basically spend some fun money, then you can definitely do that with a product like this. And I think that it would certainly fit the bill for that little bit of extra, that little bit of sprinkles on the top, and yeah, something just to have a bit of fun. So what do you think about aquarium light screens moving forward, guys? Do you think that you'll most likely buy into them, or you'll never see a need for them? Let me know down below. I'd be interested to hear some of the discussion around them. And I thought it was pretty thought-provoking as well when I was approached to receive this. So I do have to say a big thanks to Flux Aqua for sending me this light. It will go to good use now that I have it, and I'm excited to play around with it, get some really nice photos for you guys for my Instagram and so forth, and some nice footage moving forward. So hopefully that works in all of our favor. And if you want to see more of these and other products that they have, well, I'll drop the link down below in the comments and the description for you to check out after the video. If you like the video, guys, it always helps me out to smash like, hit subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.